Hello everyone and welcome back to Crater City. So a couple of things have happened. Namely, we've switched over to 1.7.4 or whatever it is now. 1.7.2. And that has necessitated a few things because we've had issues with Bucket. So we're now running on a purely vanilla server, which means that instead of flying, my cameraman over there is presently on top of a stack of dirt just from one of my random chests I lie around. He's also pretty much starving to death. And the sound you can hear is the zombie to his left that's trying to eat him, but can't quite reach him. So for now, he is a zombie magnet for me. But our main work today is that we are going to be revising the wiring over here at the witch hut to make it a lot more responsive and a lot more compact in terms of what it's doing. So, with that, hop over to my view and we'll take a look. Yeah, I'm sure he'll make an interesting dinner. Okay, so over here, I've already done a fair bit of the work with pulling out the previous wiring section. So you can see that's all gone. It used to be 2 timers and a couple of edge triggers over here. And I have shifted the dispensers 1 block forward. Because previously I had them 1 block above the ground, which meant that they could cover the whole distance along the pads, but because of the necessity to use these tripwires, I had to put them onto ground level, or else they would destroy the tripwires every time they fired, leaving a dead zone of detection, which is not a good thing to have. So from there, we have all of these tripwires, which trigger whenever anything is here, and witches will spawn inside of here, even though there's the tripwires everywhere. And so what happens is a witch spawns, the power from the tripwire goes into an edge trigger which pulses these dispensers, dispensing the water, causing them to slowly make their way out. And when they don't do that, ideally, because now I'm going to potentially drown, but when they actually fall down here, and to their deaths was a giant pit down that way. Nope. There we go. Then their signal from the tripwires will cease, and the signal from over here will cut out. Another edge trigger will pulse, and the water will be collected. So all in all, it's very efficient. There is no timer, there is no reset time. It is purely as long as there is something in here, there is water, and if there isn't anything in here, there is no water, so things can spawn. So to do that, we need to build 2 edge triggers. And that is a fairly straightforward process, because we had a couple of them in our last build of the wiring for this. So, let's see, we're going to need to bring the wiring out, so that I can have an inverted signal, as well as a standard signal, delayed by 1 tick. And then we are going to need to put those into a block, so that we can put some pistons here. Get over here. A couple of sticky pistons is all we need, so we can reuse the ones we had last time, like that. Repeaters and a bit of dust to just link these up. This is about, I think this is about 8 or 9 blocks long, so it should be perfectly within reach. And repeater. Yep, you can see that's doing exactly what we wanted to. And if we take this away, it goes firing back down. That's good. Okay, so let's plonk that there, and let's have that there. Usually you just have the 1, but it's perfectly fine with the 2, because they're all on the same delay. And then we need to have a couple more blocks here to be getting the power from. Speaking of getting the power from, there. Okay, and like that, and like that. So, when the power from this comes on, because there's no longer any witches in here, this will recede, and when the power from this one comes on, because there are witches here, this will pop up, and very briefly there'll be a pulse here, and that should be enough to get all the power into here. Now this, I believe, is 9 blocks long, so that may cause a little bit of an issue. I'm not 100% sure, we'll see in a second. Okay, and like that, so I can get up here. I am running, oh gods, yes, I am running very low on redstone at the moment. Went through the last of my silk-touched pieces, and I haven't been able to find any more, because the last time I went to find more, I found an abandoned mine shaft that's under that section over there. which then meant that I probably gained about 5 or 6 different deaths, because now witches are spawning in there as well. The place isn't lit up at all, because I haven't been there yet. Right, let's see if we can move this over. There's a little bit of lag on the server. It was a lot worse yesterday, so I'm fairly confident it'll be alright, but a little bit of lag. Okay, and there was another one. Oop, I'm getting pushed against the side there. Okay, so up here. Now what's also good about this version is that because the wiring is so small, we can actually have a separate system for each level, rather than having one system controlling both levels, which means the levels can function as spawning pads independent of one another. So whilst one of them is clearing out its witches, another one can still be spawning them, which makes it very, very efficient. It is constantly active, it is not in a cycle of cleansing and activeness. Oh, that's a comparative. There we go. Yeah, my textures are also being a little bit buggy. It's not just because I've got that on, but it seems to be... It basically seems to be connected to the helmet. I'm not sure why that is. Okay, and there. That gives us 2 more pieces, so how can I stretch that out? Well, the irony is, if this thing was running, I'd be getting redstone as a drop from these guys. Or girls, ladies, madams, whatever you want to call them, I guess. So I need to figure out a way to make a signal get all the way over there. Doop. Let's have one there. And there. Okay, so that'll save me 1 bit of redstone. And put that there. Well, I just have to do that, don't I? So, let's see, go there. And if I have a comparator, I think that will work. It's the most hackneyed version I think I've ever done, but I think it'll do. So let's get rid of the torch. Well, actually, no, let's just do the easy thing. Just trigger this, see if it works. Okay, so in I go. And nothing is happening. Why is nothing happening? Is there a zombie in the works? Is that the problem? Come on, unleash your secrets to me. What have we got? Doop, doop. Oh yeah, you may have probably noticed the big floating rail going around, courtesy of Geronimo. That is supposed to hook up to the upcoming server railway, which I'm not entirely certain why he's building that in the overworld. I mean, the Nether is probably quite a lot shorter. And another thing I'm not entirely certain of is why he's building it floating. For one thing, it's completely unsupported, so it looks kind of gaudy at best. And for another, mobs are repelled by the rails now, so there's no need to worry about them wandering onto it. It's very strange. Okay, well let's... what to do? I had to test this. Let's have a redstone torch on one end, and as I pass that, I can then see if there's a signal oh, so that's splitting out, of course. My mistake. Yeah. Okay, let's block it. Get rid of that a second. Doop doop doop. Anytime now. There we go. Okay, plug that there. Now, if this signal gets turned off... Yeah. So why isn't that connecting, it seems? Why isn't that turning off? There you go. Okay. Yeah, we can hear the piston. Yeah, we can see that. Which means it is most likely a function of not getting through this. I can't tell which side. Am I hearing all of the zombies that are over at Remember Can? Take a look. How many are on him? 2. He's making a handy. He is making a very effective zombie magnet, then it seems. Okay, so let us stand over here and induce a pulse. And the pulse is not coming, probably to do with that. If in doubt, try that. Okay, let's give it another shot. There we go. Turn it off. There we go. Okay, perfect. And I'll just... let me just remove that, so that I can put this back with impunity. There we go. And return to box. There we go. Okay, that just prevents me from getting a pulse through here inaccurately. So now that's dark, all the torches are washed away. I shall just seal this up so that no witches get out, because I've had them escape before while I was working down below. And that is not a pretty thing to happen. Okay, so there's a little bit of light's coming in through the top, I think, but all in all, everything should be fine. There's a torch in there that I don't need to care about, really. It's redstone I'm looking for, not coal. Might need to worry about that glass, that reeds there, so let's just get rid of that. In your own time. Yeah. I don't think that has descended at all. If not, I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. Okay. So that's one level set up. And now we more or less just have to sit back and wait and see if this thing actually accomplishes something. I think there's 3 zombies on a rubber cam now. Who would have thought a walking camera-headed man would actually be so tasty? Ooh, one of them's a zombie villager. I could almost cure him, except he's probably going to die in the sun soon enough. Okay, now, also good news is that this thing does serve as a visual reminder of exactly what's happening, so there we go. Witch came along, spawned, was flushed out, and the system has completely reset. So we can now go downstairs and collect their drops. Now, right now, I only have a gravity drop. There is no setting to transfer them over to player-based killing, which does have the slight downside that we don't get their rare drops of a potion of one sort or another. But we are getting more or less everything else that comes through here. So we are now the witch hut is now functioning at half capacity effectively, but it's functioning. And the next thing I need to do is drag all this out down this big long corridor into an elevator up there, and then across the side into the main area of Gemini Grinder. And then no one will have to stand anywhere or go anywhere to actually collect the drops from these witches. So that's fantastic. So that's probably something that we'll leave for a later day, because that is going to require a fair bit of iron, and it turns out I use up a lot of iron. You might have noticed this from all of the hoppers and such that I end up making. So what I'm planning on doing... It's very good. Goodies around here. Good. Okay. What I'm planning on doing is making an iron golem farm, automating that. And I actually also need to make a gold farm for the potions. So that is another thing I need to do. I'm thinking I'll do it old school, as it were, and I'll just have a ton of portals around. I suppose that's not as old school as, say, the one that's in the Nether Expedition Fortress, which I don't think I ever named. I should do that one of these days. I should get back to filming that at some point. It's been ages. Creative Sage tradition. Okay. Okay, so there we go. That is one level done, and I can have the other one completely separate so that they can actually function independently. And oh, it's triggered again by the looks of it. Yep, and it's turned off, so that's another one cleared. So that is very nicely done, very efficient, sort of similar to the way a lot of people are doing Enderman farms at the moment, where you have the tripwires triggering pistons. Yep. Oh, it's the spider I can hear over there, right. Hey, so that is absolutely wonderful. I like having the little visual indicator there of exactly what it's doing, so that's wonderful. I might have more of a graphic display going on, but pretty handy. I also have myself my Optifine zoom, if you can hear that, just by sheer virtue of the fact that, well, Optifine hasn't updated either yet. Oh wells. Or soon wells. Okay, so that is more or less it. As you can see, I have tidied up all of the torches. It says I did a little bit of terraforming, so I may tidy it up later. But the torches are at an optimal distance, and they're perfectly arranged now, so I can just keep expanding this grid as I go out to reduce the spawns on the surface, which I had to do recently to get all of this torch pattern over to Geronimo's railway station, which he didn't light up in the least. Now, here's something some of you might not understand. If you light up the surface, you will get more mob spawns at night underground. Or indeed, just as a rule, because daylight. If you light up the underground, you'll get more mob spawns during the day at the surface. The underground of this area is extremely well lit up. This section was barely lit up at all. Now children, can you tell me what that meant? It meant that I was fending off entire armies of zombies, creepers, and skeletons all night. Fortunately, most of them can't figure out the ladder that goes into the Gemini grinder, so that was fine. So I had to expand my torch pattern over here, and I'll be having some words with Geronimo whenever he next materializes. Doesn't cover the whole island just yet. Unfortunately, the map is the server map is down, so I can't actually get like some kind of screenshot to show you guys of what this place looks like on the map. And at some point, I need to start prettyifying this arch, because they ain't the best of things. And let's see, what else have I done? Well, I've started work adding an on-off switch to the Gemini grinder. We can see that if I go down this way. I like that slimes spawn in swamps, where they are then usually set to drown because they can't really swim. So around here, I have fixed up the lighting in here, so I don't actually have to go in here now, which is good because I get shot to heck. And there is a total of 7 redstone lamps, mostly due to just how the two spawns are positioned relative to each other. And if I remove this, the side ones go on, and just for the last bit of overkill, if I hit that, the one in the middle and the ones above the spawners also turn on. Those are virtually wireless, that's lovely. And this one has a little bit of trouble because I had to go across the pipeline here, the lift. That wasn't too much of a trouble. So later on I shall run a line to link those two together to put them on the same lever, and then I'll probably run something upstairs next to the collection zone so that I can have a switch of some kind to turn this on and off. Just so that I don't have to come down here every time I want to temporarily disable the skeletons, because they do build up. And if you're just like trying to farm something, then like say reeds or such, then it's not really particularly great to have 100 different skeletons next to you all clattering at once. But we need a melon farm, an automated melon farm, and we need a gold farm using the zombie pigman from the portals to make the glistering melon that is needed to make these healing potions. And we already get a ton of gunpowder, as you saw from the witch drops, so those will come along here, and you can grab those and stick them into the back here. I did manage to figure this thing out. It's kind of encased from my attempt to make it a bit more pretty. I'm still not entirely sure what it was that was causing the hoppers to work improperly, but it's more or less fixed by me just having a block in between here to add that little bit more time for them to settle in. And that works perfectly well. So, same thing here, as long as there is stuff in all of this, pushing that button causes all of them to trigger at once, dropping a Neverwort, a glistering melon, and a bit of gunpowder into there. And if any one of these is out of stuff, these torches will be on and they'll automatically stop that from pulsing, period. But since all of them have stuff, that works and that goes fine. So, let's give this a whirl and she'll demonstrate that it works. How many skeletons do we have over here? Just the nine. This is a bit of a waste of a potion, but that's fine because we get potion bottles for free from the witches as well. And there we go, that's all gone. And that has already gotten a new water bottle, so let's hit the button. Neverwort. Glistering melon, gunpowder. Perfect, so that will automatically brew us up another batch of free splash health potions, which is sufficient to kill these skeletons in a single hit. It can take more than one hit if they're wearing heavy armor, but more or less, it's pretty fine. So with that, I believe... yes, I've got tons of water bottles. With that, I shall bid you all good night, and I shall catch you all next time. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and or a favourite. Follow me on Twitter and subscribe to be notified of future updates. You can also check out the website where most other content is uploaded. That's all for now, catch you later.